So doing a little recap on today, I did make some changes to the portfolio. I did do some trading today. I've grabbed a couple of different stocks that I'm going to be swinging probably for either for the next day or for the next week. We'll have to take a look and see. But in terms of the portfolio, I did make some changes, of course. Like I said yesterday, I was going to be making some changes to allocation. So of course, I did sell out of part of I did sell out of CCL. Had a huge sell off today, so it was good that I got out of it. I did sell out of quite a little bit of Foot Locker, and of course, I sold out quite a bit of JetBlue and Play. I subsequently then, of course, bought 600 in Flow. I put a little bit into Chegg, and the bulk of money went into Gain, primarily for the monthly dividend. As I said, it does pay a monthly dividend along with things like Maine and of course LTC, which I was looking to get into. I did put quite a bit more into things like Iron Mountain, Chewy. We put a little bit more money in, and of course Enbridge. And then for tomorrow, we're going to be adding a little bit more in terms of, let's see, for tomorrow, we're going to be adding some more to Chewy, putting in 300. We had a big sell off in Chewy, and of course, I'll be adding a little bit more to things like Prudential, and then a little bit to like some other stocks, but nothing really major going on for tomorrow. Not really looking to sell anything from tomorrow. We did have a pretty decent day. Of course, I was able to lock in quite a bit of the risk portion of course, what we were up, which was primarily in things like, of course, things like Play, and I did sell quite a bit from CCL. With that said, of course, we had an up day. We're up a little bit, nothing too fantastic. We're up 240, which is good. I'll take it. In terms of what I was trading for the day, like I said yesterday, we were going a little bit more into things like Planetar. So we did see a bit of a sell-off. I was able to grab a bunch of shares. I did average a little bit too high in the stock, but I ended up getting about 125 shares. It looks like the stock might see a pop over the next couple of days. We did see it basically come right back down to its previous day on the 6th. So we might see a little bit of a pop here in things like Planetar. And of course, I grabbed a little bit of CCL. I did do a little bit of a short in NIO. I was going to hold this a little bit overnight. We did come, I think, as far down here. I actually shorted it when it was on the way up here. I think NIO might see a little bit of a slip. It's just a small play, just leaving it at that. Of course, my other position, like I spoke of in Workhorse, I am still holding the little bit I had in Workhorse. I should have bought more. During the daytime. I was up 2 points on the 4,500 shares. We did see a little bit of a pullback. And unfortunately, I didn't grab any more. I should have, but we'll have to wait and see over the next couple of days. I do think we might see a little bit of a pop in things like Workhorse, and of course things like Planetar. I should say, I am in Snap. I had bought Snap a little bit further down here, like at 37.30s. Snap, of course, had a really nice bit of a pullback, and of course, it may snap to the upside. I only have a handful of shares. As you can see, I was hoping that I was going to get a little bit more of a pullback. I was hoping the actual stock was going to pull back a little bit more than where I started. And so most of my orders, of course, unfortunately didn't get filled because I had them below like 36, like the 36 area. And unfortunately, I was hoping to see it come down a little bit more, but unfortunately we did. It came as low as like 37.50. And of course, I had more of my orders down here at below like 37s and into 36s. I wasn't quite sure how far it was going to sell off, so I'm looking for a short term, of course, snap back to the upside. I've only got 14 shares. I'm not really too worried about it. I did, of course, take a tiny position in Mattel, but then in my Robinhood account, I did buy a put option. So I sold 14. I just sold 14 put. And I took a short position here. I might take a little bit more. I don't think it has any bit more to run to maybe about 50 cents. So I'm probably just going to swing it for like a day or two. As you can see, for the most part, it looks like it's been holding 13.50s for quite a bit. And I'm not sure if we're going to see much of a catalyst to drive Mattel to the downside, as it's been trading a little bit of a channel. And I'm looking to see if we do get a small little trade to the decline. If it goes to like 75s, I may cover it. It's not really that big of a deal in terms of the play that I was looking at. As I said, I did sell out of a little bit of Carnival Cruise, and of course I did take a small position here in Carnival Cruise. I wasn't sure how far down the stock was going to go. As you can see, we're starting to see a little bit of a base. We might see a little bit of a snapback to about $17.80, $18. I'll have to wait and see. This is a very short-term play. Not really looking to hold this for the long term. I may buy a little bit here if into this gap. CCL might look to fill the gap. It might not. We'll have to wait and see how the market trades over the next couple of days. But that's basically what I did for today in terms of my small trading. We were up only about 86 bucks. I only have about currently now I only have about 6,000 in this account. So we made quite a bit from the other day, and that's basically what I'm looking. So I did take, the other thing was I did buy a put option on, I bought the 23s for the 27th, I believe. Yeah, for 11.27. I just bought one put option. I bought 123 on GPS. Primarily because I think it was looking at on the daily, it looks like we might see a little bit to the downside. I can't believe how much GPS has popped. And for kind of like no reason, there really isn't much momentum. There really isn't much room. Like when you look at GPS previously in 2020, the stock struggled to break above $20. And I guess news of Kanye West getting involved is causing the stock to pop. But as you can see, we see a little bit of resistance here at 26, where of course the stock fell off. And that's basically what I'm going to be looking at for this week. I'm going to be paying attention to Snap, Carnival Cruise, PLTR. If we get a little bit of a bump to the upside, a mini short on NIO. I'm not looking for a real big move to the downside. I'm not looking for a huge move to the downside, but of course we are seeing a little bit of weakness. As you can see, we're seeing a little bit of weakness, a little bit of stalling, although we are seeing quite a bit of strength as the stock came all the way down to 38. So if the stock, of course, was to pop back down to about that 38 area, I would probably end up covering my position. I'm not really looking to hold it, but of course I'm going to wait and see. Same thing with Mattel. Like I said, Mattel doesn't really look like it has too much to the downside. As you can see, it's kind of clustered here and basically trading sideways. We could see a little bit of a roll. I might take a little bit of a bigger position. I'll have to wait and see. But as you can see, the trend is pretty strong. So we might see a little bit of a pullback. We did see, of course, that it stopped here at the moving average at the 20-day. Same thing, of course, with PLTR. PLTR also kind of did the exact same thing. We're kind of slowed down towards the 20-day moving average. I think I have, where are we? On the daily chart over here. Looks a little more obvious on this chart, where you can see it kind of comes down to about the moving average. I believe that's the 20-day. I believe it's a 20-day on this chart. I forget. I really don't utilize it all that much, but in any event, these are basically what I'm looking for. Just looking for some small plays. If I can catch a point, 75 cents or so, I would be pretty happy. I'm trying to work this account to the upsides. In terms of the actual portfolio going into the next couple of days, I'm looking to see. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit of a pullback in the market. But currently we're doing pretty well. The account, of course, I've got 2,500 in cash, and I've got about 32.3 invested. I'm waiting to see some of these dividends roll in, but of course for the week we are going to be having about another 550 going in tomorrow, and I'll have to wait and see how I'm going to play this. AbiVi had a huge run up, and I'm like so pissed because I really wanted to load up a little bit more on this play. And like I had said in my previous video on AbiVi, really, if you had gotten in there at 80s, you are golden right now, as AbiVi pushing towards 100. So literally the only thing that I can do right now is choose to wait or choose to chase the stock now, because it's such a huge premium. I wish I had gotten more. I only have about $700 or so into it. And it's like, where is AbiVi going to go? I know it. I'll have to wait and see over the next couple of weeks. Maybe we'll get a little bit of a pullback, but it kind of is what it is. A lot of stuff, of course, has popped up in terms of like I said, with AbiVi, we've seen a huge pop up in SPG and Simon Properties, even though we're seeing a little bit of a pullback, but it's huge from 60s. It went all the way as high as like 80 something. I'm waiting to see if some of these stocks, of course, are going to fill the gap so that I can start buying, of course, a little bit more. Otherwise, I'm going to end up I'm going to be end up chasing premiums for a little bit lower yield, as of course a lot of these stocks have really nice yields and I'm trying to get on the cheap. With that said, just a quick recap. This is a little bit longer than I actually wanted to go, but of course these are the stocks that I'm going to be looking for. Like I've said, Workhorse, Planetar, the mini short in NIO and in Mattel, looking to reposition back into Carnival Cruise, and then of course looking to take a small position in Snap. I would definitely pay attention. These stocks are going to have quite a bit of movement, especially things like Carnival Cruise and NIO. Of course, NIO is having moved to the upside, so I'd be careful shorting the stock. And of course, I'm paying attention to GPS. Like I said, I bought one put on GPS at 23s, and then another one, of course, for Mattel here. And I would be looking to take those profits really as quickly as possible, because a lot of those stocks, of course, will have a snapback to the upside. And the other thing, I'm going to leave it here, as this video is getting a little bit long, and I'll check you out tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be another day. I'm going to be doing some trading, as I am going to be working at the hospital Wednesday and Thursday, and of course, we'll be back Friday, and we'll do like an end of the week recap. Well, I gotta see if I got any dividends coming through. But looking forward, I know there's gonna be a lot of movement. Pay attention to what's going on out there. Be diligent. Pay attention to the charts, and don't be afraid to pull the trigger.